Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday the 3rd of April. So, what have we got in store for today then? Well, I'm going to do a couple of news first. Today we've got obviously ADP non-farm payrolls at 1:15 UK time. In front of that, what we got? Trade balance, Aussie, that's already come out. Services PMI in the US, UK even this morning, and the US data later this afternoon at 3 p.m. So that's the services PMI. So non-manufacturing in the US. So what we got in store technically then, looking at the euro, well, fundamentally it still remains weak, but we've seen a little bit of a bounce this morning so far. I mean, it's come right the way down to these previous lows of the bodies here. It's almost no surprise that we're seeing sort of buying coming in. I was looking at the sentiment on the euro actually I was just looking at the IG index sentiment, and that was sitting at 74% clients long. I think it was even slightly higher than that yesterday. I do wonder if it will continue back on the downside on that basis, but at some stage the buyers are going to be right. It's just the amount of times they're going to attempt, but it has got the monthly pivot above and the weekly untouched, fractionally untouched still, so that there are targets for it to run back to, and statistical targets at that. But where does it look like on this 4-hourly? Well, mentioned yesterday there was a slightest of divergences yesterday. It did pull back slightly. It continued through actually though, and ran on to the downside. It has reversed at the moment. Lurking at the moment, well, it could be just going to come off this 34. It's putting this sort of in itself. Let's just have a look at the RSI here. A bit of divergence in on the hourlies at this moment. Untouched daily pivot below, with the trends and everything that's sort of sitting there with lower highs, lower lows that are going in there, could become a target. The one thing it's been doing of late, and you can see the yesterday morning how slow the whole market was there, particularly slow, and it's been like that. The ranges of this market is making it very, very difficult to do too much with. I mean, in fact, yesterday the whole day we saw just over 30 pips there in terms of movement, so it makes it a difficult one to trade. But if you're looking at it, there is some potential downside there. It may run on beyond that daily pivot, of course, but it's not known for its big moves at the moment. The pound now, one extreme to another, although the pound can become very choppy. Pushing up at the moment. Again, it sold off. It's just sold off up until this week. Now, yesterday it pushed up quite solidly. It had been selling off, pushing up at the moment. Well, there's potentially a softening of Brexit, etc., being discussed between the Prime Minister allegedly and the leader of opposition, which, if all was agreed, would probably see the pound move up quite strongly, because they're talking about customs unions, which the markets were like that in the short term at least. So that may be seen as a bullish signal for the pound at the moment, but obviously there's nothing agreed on that, and it's whether or not the members of Parliament will all agree and vote it through. Now, where to today, and you're looking at what we're seeing here, and there was some minor divergence maybe. No, there wasn't. There's a lower high. It's had a little shot up at the moment, maybe as that news is sort of working its way around the markets, and retail traders are listening to it. It's obviously nothing until it's been agreed, but all the same, it's been priced into the market maybe already. We have got a daily pivot underneath, which is still a draw on this market, and we could still see that it roll back towards that at some point, but at the moment, as I say, it's erring on the more bullish side of things here, and well, we'll see as news comes out this morning, but it's very news based in terms of its price action at the moment, or largely news based, with the news yesterday evening sort of coming out late afternoon there, really pushing the pound up higher. So there we go. It's a bit of flaky, as they say, or as I like to say, in terms of its price action. Okay, so dollar yen, well, I'm looking at this a couple of days ago and yesterday again. I mean, yesterday it barely moved the whole of the day. It's looking like it wants to continue its route back through and break that trend line that I drew across the highs there. There is arguably some divergence around these highs. It may tipple over. It's just chopping along, and yesterday was a classic dollar yen bit of trading. No real direction, well, no direction, just going sideways, or sideward direction if you want to be picky. And what about today? Well, we could see much of the same. Okay, so I need to steer clear of that at the moment. Aussie dollar. So retail sales came out on the Aussie dollar. Let's just check what came out significantly higher than expectation. So it's given the Aussie a bit of a boost through the Asian session there. I mean, up until then it was selling off again. Shorter time frames yesterday, it ended up putting divergences in. That's worked off. It's well, pitching up at the moment, and looks like it may have further upside from this. So we've got further upside potential, but it's one bit of news that seems to have driven it so far. And again, with this sort of, it's not major news, and it's not a significant change of direction. The only thing that I think would really push the Aussie dollar particularly strongly, and see a bigger continuation on the dailies, and see it come out of this very tight range, is maybe if there's a deal done between China and the US, which then releases China to get on and back to normal, maybe, possibly. So slow at the moment, but moving to the upside there. Aussie dollar, and finally the Canadian dollar. Was looking to see if it was strengthened a bit more yesterday. In fact, it actually gave back its previous much of its previous day gains yesterday. Today we're sort of selling back. US dollar selling off a little bit at the moment. It's looking like it could be heading back towards that daily 50, but coming down the time frames, and it's almost renowned for being awkward in terms of its trading, and you're just seeing just sort of one-off blips actually bringing it down almost. It's not looking the best at the moment. Let's just come back to the 60-minute here. So we're strengthening, but slowly. Maybe there's opportunities to sell into any retracements there still with the Canadian dollar. It's not as strong as it was previously fundamentally, so it's a bit neutralish, I think is the best description of it at the moment. Right, nothing else there. As I said, retail services PMI for this morning, 9:30 for the pound, and then 3 o'clock for the US, and then in between at 1:15 we've got the ADP. So have a great day. Bye for now.